What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday Q&A Hangout, celebrating a great win over the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs really just dominated them from start to finish. It was 31-0. It could have been 50-0 by the time all was said and done. Andy Reid had a lot of starters pulled. You can't pull every starter in a game, but key starters pulled with 8 or so seconds left in the third quarter. Minshew takes over against his former team, and I'm over here like, okay, revenge game. Nah, I just was like, maybe Minshew will throw some passes. Maybe he'll get a touchdown. No, I think Andy Reid literally said, you are not allowed to throw a pass. Matt Nagy, you can call the plays, but you're not allowed to call a passing play. You're not allowed to score. You're not allowed to put points up. None of that. So, nothing else happened. It was basically a quarter of football that you could have just not seen. It was awful, to be honest with you. But the first 3 quarters was awesome. It was great. It was perfection. Touchdown drive, touchdown drive, touchdown drive, touchdown drive, field goal. Harrison Butker, perfect on the day. Rashee Rice came back. That offense is humming. I understand the Raiders aren't a great team. Their defense is better than their offense. Yeah, they lost Max Crosby in the second quarter, but they were getting dominated. Whether or not Max Crosby was going to be finishing out that game, it was irrelevant. It did not matter. You could not stop that team. Now, when I say that team, I'm talking Chiefs offense. Now, the Raiders were a little sloppy. They had some penalties in the red zone that extended a couple touchdown drives, attempts. Then what else? They had a couple of opportunities to have some turnovers, to pick off Mahomes on one play, to recover a fumble from Hollywood Brown on the other play. It was just a day where nothing at all went right for the Raiders, and absolutely everything went right for the Chiefs, right? So I think they would win that game no matter what, even if that one pass that Mahomes threw right into the gift basket of that D lineman, even if that was picked off, Chiefs are winning that game. Even if the fumble was recovered, Chiefs are winning that game. It wouldn't have mattered. So it's hard to have a ton of takeaways from this game other than that offense is the real deal. There's no way around it. Rice looks great, led the team in targets, receptions, I believe, and he was second in yards, just behind Travis Kelce, who had 2 catches on the first drive, one more a little bit later, and you didn't see him again. Not much. You didn't see Chris Jones again after, the third quarter, somewhere in there. He had a really nice sack on Geno Smith, but yeah, when you're up that much, that offense of the Raiders is not able to do anything at all. It was a great win. Very dominant win. Andy Reid's first shutout in the regular season of his entire coaching career. I believe the first regular season shutout for the Chiefs franchise since 2011, since 2016 or whatever that was in the playoffs. So it was great. It was fun. But now you got the Washington Commanders coming up next. They are a better team. They're dealing with some injuries of their own, though. And that's probably a big concern for them heading into this game. They've beat the Giants. They lost to the Packers. They blew out the Raiders. Lost to the Falcons. Beat the Chargers by 17. But then they lost back-to-back games to the Bears. And then most recently to the Cowboys. And this was a game, that Cowboys game, I'm not all the way through watching it yet. But Jaden Daniels, he got hurt again. Oh, so there's that. He hurt his hamstring and might not be playing. So the Commanders, first and foremost, might be down their starting quarterback. But he was also down. I'm just turning this way so I can read my screen a little bit better. He was down his top 3 wide receivers. He was down Deebo Samuel. He was down Terry McLaurin. And they were down Noah Brown. So you're down 3 receivers. You already lost Austin Eckler for the year. Now, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is their running back. He likes to go by Bill. He's doing a good job. Then you lose Dorrance Armstrong. They lost Dorrance Armstrong, one of their defensive ends, for the season. Kind of like the Chiefs just lost Omar Norman-Lott for the season. They lost Dorrance Armstrong for the season, but he was their sack leader. They've lost 2 or 3 defensive ends this year. You now have Von Miller running around out there. as your next man up, which is pretty crazy. So this Commanders team will be much more formidable than the Raiders, but they're struggling as well with injuries. We'll see. It's too early to really know if are they gonna get Terry McLaurin back. Will Debo be ready? Terry McLaurin's been out for a while with a quad injury. Then we'll see about Jaden Daniels. He's like day-to-day, not sure. It's a hamstring, though, and we just watched Lamar Jackson hurt his hamstring against the Chiefs, and he's still not practicing. That was how long ago? So these hamstring injuries can really affect quarterbacks, especially a dual threat like Jaden Daniels, and he was the offensive player of the year last year, or the offensive rookie of the year? Whatever it was last year, he was absolutely electric, had one of the best seasons I've seen in quite some time. So, yeah, you've got a team here who is trying to find themselves in the midst of injuries. Meanwhile, you've got the Chiefs who are relatively healthy, especially on offense. I know you have Josh Simmons. We don't know what's going on with that. There's a situation there. Okay, he's away from the team. So he's down in a way. But you have Jalen Moore, who's filling in admirably. He's had 2 great games. Sure, he leads the team in pressures allowed and has the lowest pass blocking grade amongst all the linemen, but it's nothing ultra concerning. And he's a serviceable left tackle. You know what you can do when you have a serviceable left tackle? Put up 30 points, 32 points, 35 points. When you have somebody that Mahomes trusts over there, think about the Raiders game last year, guys. And then obviously I see some super chats and we'll hang out and just get some of your thoughts. But think about the Raiders game last year. Wanye Morris was the left tackle, and he gave up 8 pressures and had like a 21 pass blocking grade on PFF. You can go all the way up to a 99. He had a 21 pass blocking grade. It was awful. Mahomes has somebody over there, even without Josh Simmons, that he can trust. Kingsley Suamataia is playing better every single week. I'm just so happy for that guy. I'm so happy for Kingsley. Creed, best center in football. Trey Smith, he did tweak his back early in this game, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that one. Mike Caliendo came in, though, and allowed 0 pressures. The rest of the game, he didn't allow a single pressure. I understand Max Crosby didn't play the full game, but they still had Jonah Laulu. I think that's who it is. He was tied with Max Crosby, 4 sacks on the year heading into this game, and he's a defensive tackle. So it's not like Kingsley or Caliendo were going up against absolutely nobody over there. And so that's some great stuff. Jawan Taylor, he left the game questionable with a shoulder, but I think he could have finished out the game. And he's been playing really good ball too. No flags. Very little flags. So the O-line, you can trust them. The running back room is still the running back room with a couple of caveats. When you have Rice back and you have Worthy flying around, you have all these options, it is opening up stuff in the run game. They're doing a little bit more runs under center. I feel like Pacheco, he's had a couple of games where it's like, okay, there's the Pacheco that we have been wanting to see again, that we hadn't really seen since before his injury. And Pacheco's not elite in certain categories, but he can fight through contact and get you some yards, especially if he hits the right hole. Well, he's been doing that. He's been playing at a serviceable level. He really struggles in the pass game. I mean, Mahomes tries to target him, and he's dropping passes. He has 5 targets for like negative yards over the last 2 games. So that's not really what you're going to get in Pacheco. Brashard Smith, you used him in like 4 or 5 screens, and he was, 3rd on the team in receiving yards? Every one of his screen passes went for close to a first down or maybe a little bit more, or all but one of them. That was a cool way to use him. You also faked a screen pass early in the game to Brashard Smith, I believe it was, and that's when you found Noah Gray shooting up the left side and Mahomes hit him. So there are some things you can play off of that, but right now it's like Pacheco's out there. He's probably not doing much in the pass game. Brashard Smith is out there. He's probably not doing much in the run game. It's a little semi-predictable, but then Kareem Hunt, he is the 3rd best short yardage back in the NFL. I mean, that's really crazy in a good way. It kind of matches the eye test. You watch Kareem Hunt convert 3rd and 1, convert 4th and 1, time and time again. And he's the 3rd best short yardage back in the NFL right now. So The running back room, you kind of know what you have in them. Pacheco's playing at a little higher level. Kareem Hunt is great, short yardage. And then the pass game is just humming. Everybody got to eat. Everybody's getting the ball. Rice, Juju's looking awesome. Kelsey's looking better than last year. And he was already playing well last year, but he came in better shape. It's evident he's moving around better. Juju as well. Rice looks awesome, and it's his first game back. Worthy, he's going to have some limitations here or there because of his shoulder injury, but, I mean, he's looking great. You're averaging 32 points a game over the last 4 weeks. So the only offense, this is a Matt McMullen tweet, senior reporter of the Chiefs. I think he said something like, the Chiefs are the only offense in the NFL to put up 28 or more points over the last 4 weeks. The only offense that has done that. The Chiefs are back. And this is what happens when you have a serviceable O-line and some options to throw passes to guys that aren't Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, and MVS. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And I'll just say this. Matt Nagy's fine. No need to fire the guy, because it hasn't really mattered that much who the OC is. The EB talk. Mahomes had no left tackle and nobody to throw the ball to. The wide receiver room led the league in drops 2 years ago or whatever it was. They still made it to Super Bowls. But now you're just looking at an offense that's operating healthy with an O-line that Mahomes trusts and probably some of the best pass catchers Mahomes has ever had to throw the ball to. If maybe not ever, but it's got to be top 2. And so I'm not worried about the OC stuff. I'm not a Matt Nagy apologist. It's Andy Reid's offense. He's running the ship. If they could do something with OC later, great. If not, then it is what it is. But the offense is not the concern right now. They're firing on all cylinders. Kareem Hunt rolled his ankle, so you'll have to watch that too. And then Kingsley was like slow to get up a couple of times in this game. But then the defense is where the concerns are for me. D-line. You've got Jerry Tillery, Derek Nottie, and Chris Jones. Those are your 3 defensive tackles on the roster right now. And to make things like a little bit more confusing, the Chiefs today, and again, they'll have their reasons. I just don't know what they are because I'm on the outside looking in. But today, the Chiefs made a couple roster moves. They put Omar Norman-Lott on injured reserve, which we knew that was coming because he sadly tore his ACL in that game against the Raiders. It's a really unfortunate start to Omar Norman-Lott's NFL career just because he got banged up in training camp with an ankle, fought through it, worked his way back, and then he tore the ACL. He's out for the year. I just hate injuries in general, especially to a guy who you had high hopes for. He was going to get his role increased over time, and he was a guy that he was a second-round pick. So you're really looking for, when he was drafted, I said, and a lot of people were saying this, he has the easiest path to playing time based on the state of the roster. Well, now he's out for the season, and you really need some D-line help. So that's where my concern is. I don't fully understand the cornerback room either, because the roster move that they made, they placed Omar Norman-Lott on IR. They then elevated or signed practice squad cornerback Kevin Knowles to the active roster, to the 53. Well, that says a couple different things to me, potentially. The Commanders wanted him, or some NFL team wanted him. I really think it could have been the Commanders, and the Chiefs are like, no. And if you sign that guy to your active roster, he can't get poached. He can't get plucked. Because they don't really want a cornerback going over to the opposing team the week before the game. Not ideal. Again, that's a scenario that could have been you sign him to the roster. Or the Chiefs have a cornerback on the roster right now that's banged up a little bit. The thing is, Kevin Knowles is mainly going to be playing special teams, and where I'm going with this is, what in the heck is going on with Christian Fulton? You signed this man to a 2-year, $20 million deal, and he's been a healthy scratch 2 weeks in a row after being a full participant at practice for 2 weeks in a row. The first week I said, I'm not concerned. He's been hurt. He missed a lot of OTAs, a lot of training camp, a lot of preseason with the knee cleanup procedure, hurt his ankle week 2 after playing 2 snaps in that game, 2 defensive snaps. I think they're just bringing him along slowly. Well, then he was a healthy and active, a healthy scratch again. this week. And so I'm like, well, he's either it's just as simple as this. He is Elijah Mitchell. Like, he's on the roster, but he's inactive. They're not dressing him out. So he's your Elijah Mitchell, or your use in case of emergency guy. Where I have a little bit of an issue with that is 2-year, $20 million deal, and he's not dressing out. Okay. Or he's a potential trade candidate. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but if you got to package somebody like Christian Fulton for a D lineman to help Chris Jones, to help the biggest weakness on the roster, I think right now to me is the D line. You needed D line help before Omar Norman Lott injured his ACL, and now you need it even more. I struggle with the thought, though, of trading Christian Fulton away because of valuable depth. If the reason why Christian Fulton has been a healthy scratch right now is because Noel Williams has really impressed as a rookie, and Christian Fulton is around right now for emergency depth, but he's on a 2-year contract. Meanwhile, Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, Najee Johnson, like, you have multiple guys on the roster on the last year of their deals. So if the plan is to use Fulton more next year, or in case of emergency this year, because remember, you trade away Snead last year, Jalen Watson broke his ankle, you were really struggling to find just cornerback help, consistent cornerback help. So that's just the weirdest thing to me right now is the Christian Fulton situation. Don't know what to make of it. Would love to know what you guys think. I feel like I've probably been rambling long enough, but there was a lot to kind of process through. Raiders game, some thoughts on the Commanders, some thoughts on the team. You have to trade for a defensive lineman before the trade deadline. I don't even think it shouldn't even be up for debate at this point. Who? Great question. There's a few different potential guys that you could trade for. You're mainly going to look for teams who are losing, and they're going to be selling, essentially. So that's teams like the Jets, the Saints, the Dolphins, anybody that's got like 1 win, 2 wins, 0 wins if you're the Jets. I was trying to find a tweet because I was asking some people who... Yeah, here we go. A lot of people, when I asked, who should you go get? Calais Campbell, his name was said a lot. Colin Saunders, his name was brought up several times. Who else? Simmons, Phillips. Who's the... Let me look up the Dolphins depth chart because that guy would make a lot of sense to me. Is it Jalen Phillips? I'm almost positive. I just don't want to misspeak on his name. Who is it? Yeah, Jalen Phillips. He's got I think it's Jalen Phillips. He's got 22 pressures on the year. The reason why I even brought up Colin Saunders as well, somebody said Myles Garrett. Yeah, Myles Garrett, that's a good idea. Jermaine Johnson is a name that a lot of people are throwing out as well. The reason why I say Colin Saunders, that's just one move you could make. You'd give up basically nothing for him, a conditional 3rd-round pick, and he knows the system. That's not the only move you can make, but Omar Norman Lott had 5 tackles and 1 sack through 7 games. So part of it, you just need a higher floor of defensive tackles, and maybe Jerry Tillery can just really step up. I don't know. Maybe Jerry Tillery can just really step up, but you still need more. I don't mind them going and trying to take a little bit bigger of a swing. Like, there was an article today, 3 pass rushers the Chiefs should consider trading for. Is Jalen Phillips of the Dolphins. He's only 26. He's had some injuries, but again, 22 pressures, and that would help. There's Draymond Jones from the Tennessee Titans, and then Kayvon Thibodeau of the Giants. I don't know how the heck you could get Kayvon Thibodeau. That does not feel realistic at all. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. That's where we are with the state of the team. It's going to be quiet because it's Monday Night Football this week for the Chiefs, so the pressers don't even start till Thursday. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. PackWest with the 20 said, have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much, man, for the 20 bomb and the kind words. I hope you have a great week. Unnatural with the 5, we were at the game watching my daughter jumping up and down. She enjoyed herself, especially the barbecue afterwards. My wife also enjoyed her time. Heck yeah, Unnatural. Love that. That's a great game to go to. My editor, Alex, they got tickets last minute to go to the game. Like on Saturday, they got tickets. Absolutely enjoyed their time. Jennifer with the 5 gifted. Thank you, Jennifer. The legendary mod holding it down always. Hannah with the 2. PFF ranked Geno above Mahomes after Sunday's game. Yeah, I don't like using PFF's grades for quarterback play. I feel like there's just way too many dynamics that go into a grading system for a quarterback. Because here's a perfect example for me on PFF's grading system for quarterbacks. They're going to not give you as high of a grade on a throw that looks easy because it's open. They'll give you higher grades on throws that are more difficult. Well, think about Mahomes' no-look pass to Rashee Rice. That happened in the game. Why was Rice so open? Because Mahomes looked the safety off and threw it to Rice without looking. I mean, he was in his peripheral. But that was because of Mahomes. But PFF's going to grade that throw, grade that play as like, as a basic, simple pass, he was wide open. You should make that throw. Why was he wide open? Why did this happen? So it's very hard for me to look. It's a little easier to look at pass rush grades, maybe some cornerback grades. You can't take it as canon. It's not biblical. It's just one metric you can kind of use. I like PFF for their pressures and some other metrics. I don't like them really for quarterback grades. And that was just one example I was talking about. The no look that he threw to Rice wide open because he looked off the safety. So PFF is just not going to account for that. They're not going to account for the arm angles. They're not going to account for the sidearms. They're not going to account for evading pass rush and kind of doing your thing to create guys that get open. They don't account for that as much. So that's why I just don't care about the PFF rankings and grades for quarterbacks. Like Geno Smith was barely out there. He didn't have any turnovers. Mahomes did have some turnover-worthy plays. He threw almost 2 interceptions, but he had a great game outside of that. So it's whatever to me, to be honest with you. If you want to hate PFF and never look at him again, that's fine. I just kind of know when I'm looking at PFF, the grades are just going to be what they are sometimes with quarterbacks, and there's not much we can really do about it. I don't know what they could do about it. They try to defend it. But I'm just like, yeah, you can't really defend that. You cannot. Gambit with the 13 months. This everyone gets the ball stuff is messing with my bets. The win is so worth the lost parlay. Yeah, it was pretty hard. I had Rice's yards. I hit that. I didn't get Kelsey's receptions. I went with 3.5 receptions for Kelsey. He did that 5 games in a row. He only had 3 in this one. It's really hard to predict the Chiefs' passing game right now. I like Mahomes' stats probably. If he has a 1.5 passing touchdowns, if that's his line, I feel pretty good about the higher. But outside of that, it's like, I don't know. Maybe Rice's receptions. Depending on what his line is, if you could get Rice at like 5 receptions, I like that one. And we'll see what it looks like for Monday night against the Commanders, who I didn't even mention it earlier. I don't think they're struggling in the secondary. That defense, like they went up against a really good offense in the Cowboys that put up 44. But the Commanders' secondary is struggling. I listened to Dan Quinn's presser from yesterday. I listened to it earlier today. Somebody from the media literally said, this is the guy they traded for last year, if you remember, Marshawn Lattimore. I think they traded for him from the Saints. They asked Dan Quinn, should Marshawn Lattimore play less snaps on defense? What do you think about that? That was essentially what he was asked. It's just like, pick a cornerback that's been struggling for the Chiefs in recent times. It would just be like somebody in the Chiefs media just bluntly asking, should that player play less? He didn't really say no, but Marshawn Lattimore has struggled a little bit. There are some ways that you could take advantage of this defense, and the fact that they're down Dorrance Armstrong makes them a little bit more vulnerable as well. I think the Chiefs probably win. They should win. It won't be a gimme win, but the Commanders are in a bit of a funk, and some of it's due to injuries, but it's just part of the game sometimes, sadly. Unnatural with a 2-bomb, and for once, the AFC looks like the weaker conference. Yeah, if you look at the records and the conferences, the NFC is looking stronger right now. It's really weird in the AFC at this point in time. It's because like some teams that you thought were going to pan out didn't at all. The Ravens are a big one. You do have a really surprising team in the AFC, and the Colts. The Chiefs play them in like a month. They're what, 5-1, 6-1, whatever it is. They look really good. Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones, he's looking awesome. Jonathan Taylor, Shane Steichen, really good coach. Yeah. Jennifer with the 1587. Marcus Wyatt Earp wants to know when we're going to have the member stream. Nancy wants to know how Kareem Hunt is. Well, Jennifer with the relays. Thank you so much. I think Kareem Hunt is okay if you're talking about him getting his ankle rolled up on in the game and needing to get it taped up. The fact that he got it taped up and went out there and kept going, I think he's going to be fine. Ankles can linger, though. It'll be something to keep eyes on. I think he's fine. We won't even get the first injury report until Thursday. So it's just a couple days of we don't really know. As far as the member stream goes, we have all this week. We have all next week. I will think on that and figure it out. Well, I thought about maybe doing something this weekend in some capacity, but it's because the Chiefs don't play. But yeah, I'll think on that and I'll let you guys know. We sometimes do some of the streams on a Thursday as well. We're getting close to the end of the month. We'll get it scheduled for sure. Shane Cook with the 5. Veach going to trade or finagle something before trade deadline. We have an excellent corner to trade. This is my explanation for how they are handling him. Yeah, Shane, I appreciate the 5-bomb, and that was definitely one of the things I thought in my head. I'm only hesitant about that is because one injury to the cornerback room, and I think Christian Fulton would be pretty valuable to have in the defense. But yeah, if they trade him for a defensive lineman that is going to help Chris Jones, it's going to help George Karlaftis on a pretty consistent basis, I'm definitely not opposed to the idea. In fact, that would be the way that Brett Veach doesn't have to give up like a top draft pick. It would have to be a team that's willing to take on Christian Fulton's salary, his contract, 2-year, $20 million. It's not awful, but that means the Chiefs could do like a player-for-player trade with maybe like a late-round pick swap or something, and then take on that defensive lineman's contract. I don't know if that's what's actually going to happen, but it is certainly a possibility. 100%, Shane. Raven Black with the membership, thank you so much. Antoinette with the 2-bomb said, I love your raps. You found my music, huh? I haven't made music in like 6 years, but I'm glad you enjoy them. I had a lot of fun making it, and that's part of the reason how I got decent with audio. I got into videography. I learned about camera work, lighting. So like all this stuff, even performing on the mic, all this stuff that's helped me get to where I am today. Music morphed into photography and videography, morphed into YouTube. So I always appreciate the journey, and I've always wanted to do something creative for a living. So I appreciate it. Andrew with the 2-bomb. Thoughts on Josh deleting Instagram could be bad. You're talking about Josh Simmons. So at some point before he was ruled out of the game 2 weeks ago, he did delete his Instagram account. I don't know what to make of that. If he's dealing with a family situation and doesn't want to be on social media, then it's probably better to kind of be a little bit more isolated from social media. There's not always good that comes from being online, seeing comments, seeing opinions, seeing thoughts. I mean, the reality is if Simmons knew he wasn't going to make the game, he was going to be seeing stuff about him all over social media. So without knowing what's going on with him, I just hope he's okay. And that's all we really have. It's either a personal or family matter that he's dealing with. And that's Andy Reid said Brett Veach is handling it. That's it. So could be bad. I don't know, Andrew. I just hope he's all right at this point. Raven with the 5. Unnatural's wife, tell him to get to work. What? Watching my daughter jumping up and down. She enjoyed herself at the barbecue afterwards. My wife also enjoyed her time. Tell him to get to work. I don't know what I'm missing with that, but thank you so much for the 5. Ocean Girl with the 5. Cole, please say hi to my friend Joy Foringer. First time watching you. Lifelong fan, Chiefs fan in Arkansas. Her son is a high school head football coach. Let's go. Hello, Joy. Welcome, welcome. All are welcome here. Always glad to have you guys tuning in from wherever you watch. I have some family in Arkansas too, so that's pretty awesome. About time with the 27 months in the house. Call Hannah a slapnut. Slapnut. Isn't that like all chiefed up phrase or something? Thanks for the 27 months, brother. Xander with the 5. The Chiefs quite literally played the greatest defensive game ever in Chiefs history and NFL history while offensively playing like it's 2018, 2019, 31-30 or 31-0. Yeah, the defense played great. The Raiders are bad on offense. They were the 29th scoring offense, and it was all bad. You had no Brock Bowers. You had no Jacoby Myers. You didn't have your left tackle. It's not all excuses that I'm making for the Raiders. I think I just look at it like, it's not a good offense, but it is a better defense. And that's why I look at the Chiefs being able to drive 3 straight drives of 80-plus yards for touchdowns, another touchdown drive after that, and then a field goal from Harrison Butker after that. All the starters were pulled. It was definitely a dominant performance. And I don't want to say the defense played bad because they didn't. They didn't have to do all that much. But they did a good job. They executed the game plan. They stuck to their assignments. And even before this game, the defense was playing good ball. So, heck yeah. But you said the greatest defensive game ever in Chiefs history. I don't know about that one, but it was a really good game. Maybe there are some stats to kind of back that up, but I don't know. The Raiders aren't a good football team. Virgil with the 2-bomb. Second for Wharton may entice Panthers to take some of the contract. Yeah, because Turk Wharton, if you wanted to bring him back, he signed with the Panthers on like a 3-year, 51, 52, something like that $1 million contract. I don't think the Chiefs are going to want that contract, so you're going to have to get creative with that one. That's for sure. But Turk Wharton would be great to have back. I just don't think the Chiefs in free agency were like, I think they saw the contract offered by the Panthers, and they were like, bro, we are happy for you. Go get your bag. And I'm very happy because Turk Wharton was a UDFA. And to see him work from that, going undrafted, working his way up, having the career he did in Kansas City, and then going and getting a big payday, I mean, that's freaking awesome. Destiny with the 14 months. How's everybody doing tonight? What's up? Glad to make it. Finally, it's been a while. Destiny, how are you? So good to see you in here. Rob with the 1 month. Kelsey's restructure. Sign of a trade coming or going? What restructure? I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't see anything about that. Yeah, I haven't seen anything about a Kelsey restructure. I know he's just on the 1-year deal. It's like a $20 million cap hit. I'm just looking at chat. I didn't see anything on a Kelsey restructure. But I don't know. Yeah, like the Chiefs probably don't have a lot of cap space right now. So in order to make some moves, you might have to free up a little bit more. I think in cap space, they have $4 million in cap space right now. Rumor has it Kelsey restructure was today, but no info. Okay. Rumor has it. Who said that? I didn't hear anything about it. So maybe that's coming up. And if you did, it would just be, I don't even know what you would be doing to Kelsey's contract because he's on a 1-year deal. Converting some into a roster bonus, but that pushes money into future years. I think that's fake news. But if it happens, okay, then we can evaluate it. But I didn't see anything about that. Unnatural with the 5-bomb. I'm listening from work. My wife is being funny. Told her to become a member here if she wants to check in on future Chief stuff. Wait. Oh, Raven Black, you're Unnatural's wife. Okay. She's telling you to get back to work. Okay, that makes way more. Okay, that makes complete sense. I'm getting it. I'm totally getting it. Thank you, guys. You guys are yelling back and forth at each other through my super chats. That's actually hilarious. Jeremy with the 34 months. Let's go, man. He said, your Cole Breaks the Huddle channel really rocks. You should promote it more by making a canned insert ad for it in your HBTC videos. Advertise your own channel. Yeah, I do sometimes. I need to probably do a better job, but thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy the videos. If you guys don't watch any videos over there, the ones to watch, in my opinion, would be the weekly recaps that we do. They're like 20 to 25 minutes, but we basically recap every single game that was played on Sunday and on Monday Night Football. We do it quickly. We can look at the main takeaways, intriguing facts, stats, stuff like that. I think you guys would really enjoy that, especially, it gets so hard to know what's going on when all these games are played at once. There's just a lot going on. James with the 2-bomb. Man, I'm in such a good mood for some reason. Yeah. James is a resident Broncos fan, and he just watched his team score 33 points in the fourth quarter to somehow beat the New York Giants, who released their kicker today. I don't know if you guys saw that. The Giants released their kicker today because he missed 2 extra points, and the Giants lost by 1. We got arguing in the chat. What happened? I'm sure you're invited, but will you be attending Kelsey's wedding? I am not invited to Kelsey's wedding, guys. Sorry, not going. Not going. When is Clyde playing? Yeah, he's still on the practice squad. I don't know that CEH will see any playing time right now, but we'll see. The thing is, before CEH plays, I kind of need to see Elijah Mitchell play, if that's what we're going to do. Cole, if you were invited, would you go? Yeah, sure. But that, for sure. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I would go. But the thing is, it's going to be like super private. They're not going to invite a YouTuber. Hey, let's go invite that YouTube guy. Nah, they're going to invite their friends and family. And if it's not friends or family, it's going to be like high-profile celebrities. Can you imagine me walking around there like, hey, guys, how's it going? What do you do? Oh, yeah, you've been in that movie and that movie and that movie? Oh, that's cool. Oh, you got a Grammy? That's cool. Yeah, I run a YouTube channel covering Chiefs news. Yeah, that's going to work out. I'm friends with Nazi Johnson. Yeah, I'm friends with Nazi. They're going to be like, oh, okay. They'll know he's a Chiefs player, but they'll be like, oh, okay. Well, still, why are you here? Hilarious. Never seen a guy be so secretive about missing games. Yeah, man. And I have thoughts, but it's just like, it's all speculative. So I don't care to air them out publicly. All I can do is wait for the details to come out and just hope the guy's okay. Like, I don't know. I really have no idea what's going on. So just hope he's all right. And they haven't put him on NFI yet. So if they put him on the NFI list, that means he would have to miss at least 4 games. So the fact that they haven't put him on there yet, it means that they either think he could return before then, or maybe they just don't know if they should place him on the NFI yet because they're still gathering all the details as to what's going on. It is an odd situation. I will give you guys that. I think it's abnormal. I understand the people that are pushing back to others wanting to just know some stuff, like that they're just saying, hey, it's a private matter, leave him alone. Like I do get it, and I don't need to know what's going on, but I would just like to know if he's okay. Literally, they didn't give us anything. Veach is handling it. Okay. Well, is he okay? I mean, that's probably the most important thing for me. Unnatural with the 2-bomb. You can be his +1 if he gets invited. There we go. He's probably bringing his wife if you're talking about Nazi, but do you think CEH pickup was just to get him a check, keep money in his pocket more than a legit reserve? They kept him on the team a few years ago and he didn't play. What's up, Elgin? Tough to know. The move to the practice squad made sense to me because if you're that depleted and you need a running back, like CEH is a guy that knows the offense through and through, and you could use him. So I got it from that dynamic. He's also a vet. He has things that he can offer and teach in the running back room to the running backs. And then some of the guys on the practice squad, they're also doing stuff with the scout team. So there is other contributions happening with the practice squad guys. I don't know what to make of the CEH signing. I don't know that he's ever going to see the field because Elijah Mitchell is a healthy scratch. Unless you're down multiple running backs, I don't think you're going to see it. Does practice squad still give him insurance? Yeah, I think so, because you're still employed, Jeremy. I don't know all the ins and outs of that, though. Show the picture of you with Mahomes and or the Ginger Ninja video, said Jennifer with the 5-bomb. Gosh, I don't even know where the picture of me and Mahomes is. I met him at his gala. So I got invited to, like 2 years ago, the 15 in the Mahomes gala that they had here in Kansas City. I got invited by Chiefs VIDS. They were like, hey, do you want to come out? We got an extra ticket. I was like, sure, that sounds cool. Yeah, they're like, go to this room. The cocktail hours before the event, go there. I was like, okay, here's your wristband. I walk in there. I was like the first person I met at this gala. Hey, man, what's your name? We were waiting in line for beer or drinks. I got his name. I was like, what do you do? And he told me he's like way high up in some big company. I can't remember the exact company name, but he said where he was from. And then I was like, oh, you're like in a hotel? You get in a hotel? He's like, no, we're flying home tonight. So I put the pieces together really quick. I was like, this guy has a lot of money and he flew here private. I was like, did you fly your private jet here? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. He's like, what do you do? I was like, nothing. I don't do nothing. Make YouTube vids. So that was funny. The first person I talked to at the gala. Anyway, Mahomes walks in with Brittany and Jackson and somebody else, and they just start taking pictures with people. I was like, who are they taking pictures with and what for? They're like, anybody in here that wants a picture can take a picture. I was like, oh. So I got in line, took a picture with them. I got to say just, hey, real quick, but that's how I met him. That's the story. Haven't been here the whole time, said Cooper. Who do you think is the most likely pickup that we get before the deadline? What's up, Cooper? Thank you so much for the 5. And we kind of went through some options earlier. I don't know. There's Draymond Jones of the Tennessee Titans. There's Jalen Phillips of the Miami Dolphins. I do like that one. He's only 26 years old, 2 sacks, 22 pressures. I think he had like an ACL and an Achilles over the past few years, but he's playing really well this year. There's probably some people in chat that even have some ideas. I mean, I think defensive tackle, it has to be considered. And I was watching a video earlier. It's funny. I was watching this video before the live stream of CBS. They were like talking about potential trade candidates for the Chiefs. And at the end of the video, they started talking about cornerbacks. I'm like, why do the Chiefs need cornerbacks? Well, they want Chamari Connor out of the slot. But I'm like, listen, dude. They said Will McDonald, Jalen Phillips, defensive tackle Shelby Harris would be one. Calais Campbell, his name's been thrown around. You're going to need somebody. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Chiefs made 2 moves. For a move for somebody like, let's say, Colin Saunders. Because he would cost next to nothing. He's been inactive with who? Who's he even with? I can't even remember. We just played their team. Maybe the Jags. But then you need to go get somebody else as well on top of that. Did I roll up in the HBTC limo? At the time, I rolled up in my 2004 Honda Accord to the gala. Angela said, what's up, chat? Chiefs at least 40, Commanders 10 BTA. Oh my gosh. Since today's the start of the NBA season, who's your favorite team, Cole? I do not watch basketball, brother. I don't have a favorite team. Darren said, hey, Cole, have you seen Spags might be up for Tennessee Titans head coaching job? Yeah, because there's a connect there with their GM. He was is it Mike Borgonzi, I believe? He was the assistant GM for the Chiefs. Matt Nagy could be a consideration as well. That's hopefully a worry for another day. I don't know. I mean, Spags, if he wants to go for it, that's awesome. Nagy, that's cool too. That's a worry for another day, but yeah, there's going to be some head coaching vacancies that Nagy and Spags will probably interview for. They did last offseason too. You're learning manual. Got yourself a 5-speed? Nice. That's cool. What are you driving nowadays? I have a 2020 Honda CR-V. I did finally upgrade. I had a 2004 Honda Accord with like 300,000 miles. I did finally recently-ish upgrade. If we can shut out the Mariota Commanders, it would send a seismic message. Yeah, so I did say that Jaden Daniels probably wouldn't be playing. If he doesn't, it's Marcus Mariota. Now, he's led them to some wins this year. He's a serviceable backup, but he really needs some help. Like if you're out Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, and you don't have Jaden Daniels, I mean, that's really tough. Really tough. Captain, Redbeard in the house with the 34 months. I remember when Mahomes followed then unfollowed you on Twitter. Yeah, so that's what I talked to him about really briefly at the gala. Because he followed me on Twitter one day, and I was like, what the heck? It was his real account. I was like, dude, thanks for the follow. Obviously, big fan. Thanks for all you do for the city. He's like, my bad. I didn't mean to follow you. I was like, oh, okay. All good. So then I saw him at the gala like a week later. And that's when I was like, hey, man, I was like, I'm the guy you accidentally followed on Twitter. And he's like, oh, I know exactly who you are. We laughed about it, took a picture. And I just said, thanks for all you do for the city and called it a day. But that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Mariota scares me, brings back nightmares of that playoff game. Yeah, when he threw his own touchdown pass, I was in the stands at Arrowhead during that game. Yep. Flip with the 5. Hey, Cole, looks like some of the people here just joined the stream. Can you start from the beginning again? No, it's all good. I understand people aren't going to hang out for the whole time, so if they want to bring up another question, I will try to answer it, but Flip, thanks for the 5, brother. That time of the year, we trade for McCole Hardman. I think McCole Hardman is just a free agent. That's why I made a video about it when he got released by the Packers. Like, I think, isn't he? McCole Hardman. I think he might be a free agent or he's on the Packers practice squad. But yeah, I thought McCole Hardman was going to return to the practice squad. You got McCole hanging out. You got CEH hanging out for vibes. Unnatural with the 15 bomb. Let's go, man. Got Raven a Tranquil jersey and daughter a Bolton and a Casey Wolf plushie thing and a mini helmet. And I want us to get slightly better at stopping the run. Jonathan Taylor worries me in the playoffs. Yeah, they play the Colts before then, but Jonathan Taylor is awesome, dude. He's had like 3 games this year with 3 rushing touchdowns. He's playing out of his mind. I do think the Chiefs have done a pretty good job of limiting running backs that they go up against. Whether this season it's been Saquon, it's been I know he's not playing as well, but Saquon, Derrick Henry, ETN with the Jags. Really any team so far that you've gone up against, they've done a pretty good job limiting that run game. Now, Jonathan Taylor will be a problem, but then the Lions too. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, like they didn't go crazy. They didn't go nuclear either. So I think that's a strength of the Chiefs defense. I understand the metrics, like their run defense grade, the EPA per play against the run. A lot of that is bottom half of the league. But I would want to see all those stats if you filter out the QB scrambles. Filter out Trevor Lawrence running for like a career high on you. Filter out Justin Herbert doing what he did with his legs week 1. And let's just see what are the metrics when it's just actual designed runs against running backs, because I feel like they've done a pretty good job. Outside of the Giants game, they just kind of let Scadaboo rush for over 100 yards like intentionally. It was take away the moon ball from Russell Wilson, and you were going to win that game, and that is exactly what happened. Xander with the 5. Thank you, brother. I'm actually so upset we're likely not getting Mahomes versus Daniels on Monday night. I got Chiefs winning 34-20. Yeah, with the hamstring, I'm not sure that Jaden Daniels plays, because it wasn't even like a hamstring where he got hurt, but you don't really know when. Like even with Lamar Jackson, you didn't see a play where it's like, oh, he hurt his hamstring right there. Nah, Jaden Daniels got tackled, and you could see him like reaching for his. Well, I thought it was his knee at first, but it was his hamstring. So I don't think he's playing. But unnatural with the 2 bomb. I drive a modded black 64 Cadillac hearse. Seriously? That is sick. That's fire. Yeah, I just got a little CRV. Got so we can carry the kids around in it and all that. I need to see a picture of that. Brand with the 5 bomb. Offense firing at a new level. Thank you, Brand. Defense still only allowing sub 20 points per game. If we can maintain this, the rest of the season is going to be exciting. 100%, man. They're playing awesome. They're doing a great job, and it's what we thought the offense could be if you had serviceable left tackle play and some pass catchers to throw the football to, and it's looking great so far. You started out a little bit slow. You didn't have Rice, and then Worthy got hurt 3 plays in, right? And even Worthy, I didn't mention that earlier. Xavier Worthy re-aggravated his shoulder a little bit in that game. I don't know if you guys remember, he slammed his helmet off. Slammed his helmet off and was frustrated on the sideline. So that's something to watch. I just think that shoulder is going to be an issue for Worthy for the rest of the year in some capacity. Do you think defensive tackle... Actually, hold on. Let me back up. If we can maintain this, the rest of the season will be exciting. Yeah, Brand. I agree, brother. Rust with the 5. I remember the last Super Bowl, we need a pass rush. No, for sure. I think you win or lose games in the trenches. The Eagles were great D-line wise, but the Chiefs O-line was just not in a great spot. You had Joe Tooney at left tackle and Caliendo at guard. You're getting outmanned. You didn't have time to throw some of your passes where you were open down the field. You had the pick 6. You had the forced fumble that Hurts turned into a touchdown, like a play later or something like that. So yeah, definitely unfortunate, but that's why you fortified the O-line. And now it's like, okay, you need to get some pass rush help or some interior help for sure. I agree. Casey with the 10 bomb. Do you think defensive tackle spot we need to fill is worth a 3rd or 4th round pick? Maybe a player also. I think we need to play now. A play now with impact player. We are too slow at defensive tackle position. Might as well go all in on this. And then we got Irwin with the 5 gifted right after that. Yeah, I think even before Omar Norman Lott got hurt, we needed some D-line help. And now it's like, do the Chiefs actually double dip? Do you see him make 2 moves? And if it has to be a player-for-player trade, that's where some are surmising, and I processed through it earlier in the stream, could that be Christian Fulton? I don't know if it's going to be, but he's been a healthy scratch the last 2 weeks. The trade deadline is getting ever so close. It's like a few weeks away now. When is the trade deadline? Is it November 4th? I'm looking it up because I don't know off the top of my head. It's November 4th. It is 2 weeks away from today, November 4th, Election Day. Election Day and the trade deadline in the same day. So yeah, I think before then or by then, the Chiefs make at least one move. I would like an impact player. I don't think you got to go all in, but meaning go and get an all-star, Jeffrey Simmons or something insane. But I do think you need an impact player for sure. That's unless they're just like super high on Jerry Tillery or something, and then you need a more of a role player. But Omar Norman Lott's role was going to increase the back half of the season. Now he's done. So yeah, I guess, is it worth a 3rd or 4th round pick? They're pretty stingy on those draft picks, Casey, but yeah, potentially. Because right now when you're looking at the roster and you're in the, let's say you stay pretty much healthy and this is the state of your roster. If you look at one spot on the roster and say, that's the reason why this team lost a playoff game or lost the Super Bowl, what position group would you say? Oh, FLDB's texting me and I was making sure that it wasn't something about the stream. I would say D-line. Not able to get home to the opposing quarterback because it affects everything else. Somebody said O-line. Well, yeah, if Josh Simmons is away for the rest of the year or something crazy, I would be a little bit more worried about the depth of the O-line, especially at the left tackle spot, but I'm assuming he'll be back at some point this year. I don't have anything to go on that's like a source or anything, but yeah, I would think it right now it's the D-line. That's where the issue is. Offense last Super Bowl. Yeah, the O-line was pretty banged up, and then you didn't have Rice. Pacheco wasn't right. There was a lot going on there. The fact that they made it to the Super Bowl was insane. Going to Vegas for Halloween, said Dave. Looking forward to sporting my Chiefs gear and getting heckled. Just going to smile and give a tomahawk chop wave. Let's go. Heck yeah. Xander with the 5 just announced that Greenlaw will be suspended for the Broncos next week against the Cowboys. Big loss for them. Yeah, and Greenlaw just came back from IR. Ended up getting suspended for yelling at the ref after the game. I guess the ref kind of pushed him a little bit. I watched the video. Regardless, you can't run up to a ref and curse at him. You just can't do that. So yeah, he's suspended. He tried to appeal it, and it got upheld. Unnatural with the 2 said, trade with the Bills again. It always works. Just kidding. Hey, in the draft especially, Bills helped the Chiefs trade to get Patrick Mahomes. They leapfrogged the Bills to get McDuffie. They then traded. Didn't they trade with the Bills to get Xavier Worthy? I think they did. Pretty sure. Russ with the 5. Appreciate you, brother. Trent Green and Priest Holmes days were electric. Yep, with high-powered offense, 2 meant nothing without a good defense. Yeah, there were times where the defense carried. There were some years there with Derek Thomas and company that I was more excited for the defense to be on the field than the offense because that's where my favorite player played. But yeah, Trent Green, Priest Holmes, Tony G. I mean, they had some pretty electric offenses back then and couldn't get it done. So I agree. You got to be as rounded as you can. The defense is in a pretty decent spot, but the D-line needs help. 1-2 guys, it needs help. It's not like there's reinforcements coming either. They're all injured for the year. Like last year, we're like, oh, Charles Omenihu, he's going to come back. And he didn't look his best either when he came back. But like with the offense this year, we're like, oh, well, Rice is coming back. So he's back, but there's no real reinforcements coming for the D-line. Is Washington horrible? No. Yeah, rest in peace to Derek Thomas. Exactly. Is Washington horrible? No. They're much better than the Raiders, but they're dealing with some injuries. So they're out like Terry McLaurin, their wide receiver 1, Deebo Samuel, wide receiver 2, Noah Brown. They were down 3 of their main wide receivers last week, and then Jaden Daniels might not play. Dorrance Armstrong, their leading sack D lineman, their sack, how do you say this? Their sack leader on the D line. He is on IR for the year, and that just happened last week. So they're not horrible, but they're dealing with some pretty key injuries, and they're trying to figure it out. I think the Chiefs win. They'll be favored. Do we even have that? Chiefs Commanders money line. Do we have that yet? The Chiefs are 9.5 point favorites. Yeah. They're at home. So that plays a little bit of a role. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. The Chiefs are... No, it's... Yeah. Wait, what am I reading? I'm seeing 6... No, yeah. 9.5-point favorites. You can't really see that. This is what I'm looking at. I mean, they probably win this game. Obviously, it's the NFL, and you have to protect the football. Can't have the costly turnovers. But if you play clean football and you look how you did last week, it's not going to be a blowout, or rather a shutout. But the Chiefs should win that one. Do we have any potential D-line guys on the practice squad? Said Falcon with the 2. Yeah, a couple. But they're on the practice squad kind of for a reason. I don't want to be like disrespectful there, but if they were more impactful players, they would have made the roster. Now, the one guy that they've kind of called up would be, it's Marlon Tuipulotu. Where's the practice squad at? Here it is. This is who's on the practice squad. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Carson Steele, Jason Brownlee, Jimmy Holiday, Trey Watson, C.J. Hansen, Jason Godric. But as far as D-line, Broderick Martin, Zach Pickens, Marlon Tuipulotu. This is the guy that they've kind of been calling up, like when Chris Jones was questionable to play with the funeral that he was attending out of town. Marlon Tuipulotu was called up. So I think he would kind of be the next man up right now at this point in time. And I don't know that you're going to make a move for a defensive tackle or defensive lineman or two of them before Monday Night Football. And even if you did, would they actually be ready to play? I don't know about that. So that's probably what you're going to see. Marlon Tuipulotu brought up, and you're going to run with that, would be my guess. Unnatural, back again with the 5-bomb. You're the freaking man, dude. Love the fact that the offense took long drives. It's important to score, but occasionally let the defense rest. 2-play drives are awesome, but not all of them. Yeah, that's a good thing to point out. The offense has been so good at sustaining long drives, successful drives, ending in points. It keeps the opposing offense off the field. It gives the Chiefs defense rest, and then it puts more pressure on opposing teams because the Chiefs are scoring and they're going up, and the pressure factor gets amplified. That helps the defense for sure. Agree with you. Russ with the 5. We don't need clean football. We have the KC Boba Fett helmet. Just put the helmet on and it's all good. Put the helmet on and it's all good. Somebody's asking about the rest of the schedule and games that I'm worried about. We could look at that. Let's see. It was Girani with the 2-bomb. Thank you, brother. What regular season games are you worried about? Well, I was worried about some in here, but it's so funny. It's like, I wasn't worried about the Jags game. They lost it. I was worried about the Lions game. They won it cleanly. I'm not ultra concerned about the Commanders right now. The Bills, they just always play the Chiefs tough. I think the Chiefs should win that game because the Bills are a little weird right now to me. But Josh Allen's a really good QB, and they play the Chiefs really tough, especially in the regular season. They've played them pretty tough in the playoffs too. The Colts, that was a game where at the beginning of the year, I was like, the Chiefs should win that game, even though the Colts are like the Chiefs' kryptonite, but they look really good right now. So that's a game where I'm like, well, that will be a tough one. You do play the Broncos before that. I like that you're playing the Broncos coming off of the bye, but do I remember right? Are the Broncos also coming off of a bye? I don't know why I want to see their full schedule. No. So the Chiefs play the Broncos and then they have their bye. So the Chiefs are coming off of their bye, and I do like that. I think the Chiefs should win this game against Denver. They're a weird team right now. They're like not good on offense until they are. and then they just put up a bunch of points. So inconsistent on offense, very good on defense. I think the Chiefs have the ability to win the next 3. Colts game, I don't know. Cowboys game is kind of wild because their offense is really good. Dak is playing out of his mind. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. I mean, Javonte Williams, their running back. They look really good. I think the Chiefs will win this game too. You should beat the Texans. When I'm looking at this schedule, I don't know that the Chiefs win out, but I think they could finish the year. They've lost 3. I think they could finish with 5 losses. That's pretty realistic. You've got to win almost all of these games, but you can beat Washington. You can beat the Bills, but let's say they don't. You lose to the Bills. I think you could beat the Broncos. There's a path to beating the Colts. The Cowboys. I mean, the Chargers will be tough if they get Joe Alt back. They're just really banged up right now. You should beat the Titans. The Denver game, like maybe the Chiefs lose that one. I hope not. It's on Christmas. I don't really want to see that. But there's a path to win most of these. The question was, what are you scared of? I have the healthy respect for the Bills because of how they play the Chiefs and the Colts. The Broncos, of course, too. But that's kind of where I'm at with the schedule. I think they could win most of these games. At worst, lose 3 of them. So you're 11-6. They still have a chance to win the West, too. They still have a chance to win the AFC West. You're not far off right now. Hannah with the 5. Dan Quinn said Debo and McLaurin are expected to be at full practice this week, i.e. they play. Scary Terry worries me a little. King of tough catches. Yeah, he's your deep threat guy. So that's a good note. I listened to his presser today, but I don't recall hearing that. But either way, even if you have their backup in Marcus Mariota, if he's got some guys to actually throw the ball to, they're going to be better and more formidable. So if Debo returns, Terry McLaurin returns, that's a lot of reinforcements helping them. Their defense is still a concern to me. You're down your top pass rusher for the season as well. Their secondary has struggled, and the Chiefs' offense is just fireworks, lights out. I think the Chiefs win it, but that's going to help them for sure. If you get wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 back, no matter what team, that is absolutely going to help. You know what's crazy to me? I watched the Lions and Bucks game, Monday Night Football, and I watched Amon-Ra St. Brown get like 70 yards in a quarter or a quarter and a half, and he had like 45, 50 yards all game against Kansas City. So they can be good or do a good job of taking away some of those key receivers. But yeah, Terry McLaurin's an awesome receiver. What do you think of the worthy hand wave? He said he just made it up. That's what he said in a recent video. He just made it up. So, fine with me. They all seem to like it. Chris Jones was even doing it. Don't mind it at all. Rust with the 5 bomb. Well, Jabin, thanks for the 2. Rust, thanks for the 5. In all seriousness, what the heck, dude? In all seriousness, you're extremely good at this. As I can't even read your super chat, you're giving me a compliment on how good I am at this that I can't even read. Production quality is top-notch, good stuff. Hey, thank you so much, Rust. We really try. Anybody that's been here since the beginning, they've seen the channel kind of elevate slowly but surely over time. And we try to get 1% better every single day. And sometimes that's just, hey, I need to watch this game or listen to these pressers or watch the coach's film. And it's not always about the craziest, most insane edit or anything like that, but it's like I need to know more about what I'm talking about. And so I've tried to take that more serious as time goes on this channel. Just I'm not an expert or anything like that, but I do want to know what I'm talking about. And I think that's helped me for sure. But then we have Troy and Alex helping with the edits, and they do a really good job in the edit room. Brand is helping with some of the game recap shorts with my reactions on it. FLDB help with the scoreboard. The mods holding it down. They help with the Discord experience. So it's definitely a team effort, man. But I appreciate the kind words, Rust. Brand with the 5 in the house. I'm feeling You have to put up 28 plus to beat the Chiefs going forward. Maybe unrealistic, but that is the feeling, and it will be difficult. Yeah, over the last 4 weeks, they put up 28 or more. Hey, computer screen. Yeah, over the last 4 weeks, they put up 28 or more, so I like... Oh, okay, nice. I like that that mindset. I agree with you, and that is going to be tough to do. Dan Quinn said it on Moving the Chains on SiriusXM. Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. And those are going to be the ones to watch for on the injury report. He's definitely not going to say they're not playing if he thinks there's a chance. That's for sure. That'll be a key guys for them to have back. Rooting for Marlon Tui Pelotu, said Bobby with the 2-bomb. He went to my high school? That's awesome, dude. Heck yeah. That's pretty cool. Unnatural with the 2-bomb, going to be doing your channel again in January. Nice. What do you do? Reactions? Of course. But reactions to what? Would you say the Colts are the best team in the NFL right now? I think a lot of people have them on their power rankings. They're the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL. They're really good. They're like whooping everybody. They're 6-1. And if you look at some of their stats and metrics, they're averaging 33 points a game. So that's first in the NFL. 380 yards a game. That's second in the NFL. They're third best on third downs. They're 8th best in the red zone. They are 10th in yards per rush with 4.6. Daniel Jones is 4th in the NFL in completion percentage. You just keep going down, and they're just electric. But then their defense is good, too. They're number 8 scoring defense, allowing only 20 points per game. So, yeah. I do think they're one of the top teams in the NFL. Whether you want to put them at 1 or 2 or whatever, I don't know. But they're one of the top teams in the NFL. That's for sure. Mostly music. I'll be doing more eventually. Nice. Heck yeah. I thought it'd be fun eventually to do a reaction channel just to like random stuff, but I always have dreams in my head, don't have time for it all. Jabin with the 5. We're going to look back on the Jaguars loss the same way we look at the 2022 Colts loss. Like, how did they lose that game? Now, of course, the pick 6 was a massive swing in that game. You should have had an INT that Drew Tranquil and Nick Bolton fought over and couldn't haul it in. Just stuff went bad for the Chiefs in that game, right? It was a game where you pretty much dominated in most metrics. But a pick 6, that's a huge swing. I think Harrison Butker, he didn't have any misses, but he had the kickoff out of bounds at the end too. Just some tough stuff there. They're also apparently so far the most efficient this century in points per drive. Know who beat the team, the last team to be the most efficient offense? Spags with the Giants against the 07 Pats. If you're talking about the Colts, I believe you is what I'm saying. I think they've punted like the least in the NFL. Let me see. NFL teams punts. Like, how can I just find that? Can I find that quickly? It's got to be the which team has... Yeah, the Colts. Here we go. The Colts have 12 punts. How do the Ravens only have 17? What's up with that? The Chiefs are third, tied with the Falcons at 18. Well, the Ravens have only played 6 games. Okay. Wait. This isn't all up to date. Unless all these teams had a bye? Never mind. Don't use StatMuse. I don't know if that's accurate. StatMuse is frustrating sometimes. It's hard to know. Look at the pick 6. Thornton almost caught him, said Unnatural. Yeah, he almost ran him down and tackled him. It was a great, valiant effort, that's for sure. Ross in the house. Dude, oh my goodness. BLHS Bobcats, let's go. Yes, sir. I graduated from Baser Linwood back in 09. That's crazy, brother. There's a guy that was on the Chiefs that graduated from Baser too. Was it Eric Scott Jr.? I don't think he's still on the practice squad, or is he? He went to IR, I think, but he graduated from Baser. Pretty crazy. Colts, 4 of the teams they beat are Dolphins, Titans, Raiders, and Cardinals. Broncos are inconsistent, mind-boggling, 8th easiest schedule in the NFL, making them look good. Yeah, I mean, they're still a good team. I don't know if they are. It's like, okay, let's see how it looks down the stretch here. The Chiefs will be a really good litmus test for the Colts in a month. Let's see. I kind of said the same about the Jags. I said, hey, the Jags haven't really beaten anybody impressive when they were playing the Chiefs, and then the Chiefs had the game that they did, and then they beat the Chiefs. And it's like, well, there you go. I mean, the Chiefs played an awful game, but yeah, we'll see. I think the Colts are a good team. They're having a really good start to the season. They are definitely exceeding expectations, but it's still early. It's still early. Not as a Chiefs fan, but as an NFL fan, do you think the Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl? I don't know how to separate that sometimes, but I do think the way that the Chiefs are looking, as hot as they are getting on offense, you can correct a couple different things on defense. The X factor, obviously, knock on wood, is always injuries, but stay relatively healthy. And I absolutely think they have a chance to make it back to the Super Bowl. I mean, look, I understand the Giants had some injuries, or the Lions had some injuries, but they had Brian Branch, they had Kirby Joseph. They had a lot of playmakers, most of their offense, and they beat the Lions 30-17. And that is one of the best teams in the NFL, a team that you could very well see in the Super Bowl. So absolutely, I think they can make it back to the big game. It's never a promise. It's never a guarantee. You have to claw and fight your way through each of these playoff games, execute on a very high level. But yeah, I think they've made it to 3 in a row. They made it to 5 in 6 years. So history, recent history, data, it does tell you they have a pretty good chance at making it back. And then as good as they look overall this year, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of people, depending on who you ask, they think the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. I understand they're 4-3, but if you're doing more than just looking at the record, looking at the basic stats and look how hot they've been over the last 4 games, I mean, they look really good. Tap with the 16 months in the house. Appreciate you, Cole. You do the work and keep us up to date. Can always count on your shorts when I can't watch the live. Heck yeah, man. I appreciate you. We try to work really hard and give y'all the news as concise as possible and straight down the middle. Call it like we see it. Rather be 32 in the power rankings and voice the Lombardi when it's all done than be number 1 in the rankings and miss the playoffs. And that's, you graduated from basic? You graduated from basic? Like basic training? I don't know what that means. Is that a military joke? What does that mean, Natural? Basic training? That's got to be it, dude. If so, awesome. Chiefs are a franchise we all want. Bang, said Ken with the 5 bomb. Bang. Yeah, heck yeah, man. And then I don't read too much into the power rankings. That's why I don't even do them on my other channel anymore, because it's just like, who cares to some extent? It's a week-to-week league. Can you be consistent for the most part and start trending in an upward direction when it matters most? And can you stay healthy? That's just kind of where I'm at with it right now. Cole, you should do a record prediction for the remaining KC games and AFC West prediction standings. What's up, Brandon? I did kind of look at the rest of the schedule and give some of my thoughts. I think they can win all but 2 or 3 at worst. Again, I don't know exactly who it's going to be, but Colts will be an interesting game. The Bills, you've got the Broncos twice. You have the Chargers again. There's somebody else that I'm missing in there that won't necessarily be the easiest opponent in the world either. Oh, you're in the Marines 8 years, so yeah, military. I thought that was a military reference, so thank you for your service, brother. That's freaking awesome, dude. Marines 8 years. Wow. Get Jeffrey Simmons? I mean, I wish. there's certain guys you're not going to move on from, and there's certain guys that the Chiefs aren't going to give up multiple draft picks for and take on a big contract when they're already paying Chris Jones $31 million a year. And then they've got Karlaftis on a multi-year deal too. It's not like that. Cole is on Fox 4. I'll be there. Yeah, Darren, every Thursday night at 11:05, 11:10. It's during their KC Sports Night from 11 to 11:30. I have a 5 to 7 minute Chiefs segment on there. Okay. I hate to say this, but you can't sleep on the... Yeah, Cowboys. That was another team. Tyson, I was just saying, there's a team that I'm forgetting about in this schedule. No, the Cowboys offense, top 3 probably in the NFL. I mean, they are insane. Their defense is for sure a weakness, but that offense is... I think Cowboys-Chiefs could be a really fun Thanksgiving shootout. Really fun. Why am I worried about the Broncos and the Colts? Talk me down, said Rust with the 5. A division opponent, they're always going to play you tough, and they have a really good defense. They often know your tendencies. I don't know. The Chiefs aren't the same team as they were last year, and they beat the Broncos on a wild game walk-off field goal, and then they got beat down by the Broncos week 18 because they rested all their starters. Good question. I think the Chiefs have a real chance to split with the Broncos, but the way that offense looks right now, they're pretty inconsistent, man. That defense is really good. The offense, they're still like searching for their identity and trying to figure it out. I definitely think you can beat them, but it's not going to be easy. The Colts, again, yeah, really good team, high-flying offense, but somebody was talking about recently the Colts schedule. They beat the Titans, or hold on, let me do this. The Colts schedule this year, you beat the Texans wait. Sorry, let me get to the right year. Holy heck, dude. I zoomed in. Holy heck. Holy hell. Holy something. Okay. They beat the Bengals. No, that was preseason. Okay, we're here. I got it. They beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins aren't a great team. You did beat the Broncos by 1. I think that was like a weird... Was it on a game-winning field goal, maybe? You beat the Titans. It's like the Dolphins and Titans, okay, not good teams. They beat the Raiders, not good team. They lost to the Rams, good team. They beat the Broncos by 1. They beat the Cardinals, not really a good team. They're like, okay. Then they did beat the Chargers pretty handedly last week, and the Chargers have a lot of injuries. It just wasn't really close. I have to give them credit for what they've done. They can't control who they've played against either. So it's like, that just kind of is what it is. But it's not like they're not playing these teams close. 33-8 to the Dolphins. 41-20 to the Titans. 40-6 to the Raiders. So, yeah, I mean, some of the better teams, it's close. Like the Cardinals are a formidable opponent, right? They're not like elite, but they're a decent team. The Rams are a pretty good team. I like the Rams. I like Stafford. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, they've got the Titans again. They got the Steelers, the Falcons, then the Chiefs. They've got a pretty easy schedule. I mean, the Seahawks and 49ers will be tough. So, yeah. We'll see about the Colts, man. Have you seen the new Chiefs tunnel intro? Asked Tom with the 2-bomb. Check messages. Chiefs tunnel intro? I don't think so. I don't even know what that is. Are you talking about when they come out onto the field before the game? I saw like the new setup. I see the new setup for sure. Tom's always sending me photos of like stuff in his house that he like redoes and turns Chiefs. Look at that. We got Chiefs all up in the house, dude. Nice. Nice, Tom. Let's go. We're crushing the Colts. I hope so. Their schedule is a cakewalk. They're going to be like the Vikings from last year and lose in one game in the playoffs. Yeah, they've had an easier schedule for sure. I still think they're a good team, and you just have what you have to go on based on who they've played. They're still playing well and exceeding expectations. But yeah, when they're playing tougher opposition, the games are closer for sure. So the Chiefs game will be a good litmus test for them. I truly believe that. We didn't even let the Raiders cross the Chiefs' 45-yard line. Yeah, it was crazy, man. That was a crazy game. EGE, what up, Peppa? Cole, they only played tomato cans. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you feel if Matt Nagy is not here next year due to promotion elsewhere? I would feel fine. I would feel 5 out of 10, I guess. Just because Andy Reid runs the offense, I wouldn't mind a new face in the room to help bring scheme some ideas. I mean, even if it's not a new face, like let's say they bring Mike Kafka back and he's the OC. He's the OC for the Giants right now, but he was the pass game coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs before heading over to New York. That's a guy who's been away from the building for a little while, learned a few things, probably also learned some things not to do with the Giants. And if he gets let go, there's a guy that I thought could have been the Chiefs offensive coordinator had he waited a little bit longer. Yeah, so if Nagy moves on, it's fine. To me, it is. What is your trap game remaining on our schedule? I jokingly said the Titans, but I don't even think that's possible. So the definition of a trap game is a game that you think you should win, but you're a little focused on the next opponent. I mean, I guess the Commanders could be, technically, if you're focused on the Bills, but I still think the Chiefs beat the Commanders. I'm just like looking around. They're kind of all tough teams. Like the Broncos won't be easy. The Colts won't be easy. The Cowboys won't necessarily be easy. Let's say the Texans. The Texans could absolutely be one of those trap games where it's like, nah, the Chiefs should win that, but you've got 3 out of your last 4 games, they're AFC West games. Maybe the Texans? I mean, I'll be curious to know your guys' thoughts here as you look at the schedule. The Colts are dangerous because their owner is sitting on the sideline taking notes and jobs are on the line. Raiders trap game? Gosh, dude, I hope not. Week 18 Raiders trap game. Yeah, Raiders are the last one. Yep. Defense can shut down any offense. I take no games as a given. True. Nona McDaniels. I don't think Mike McDaniels would make sense to be the Chiefs offensive coordinator. I don't feel like his vibe would like mesh with Andy's. And then, I don't know. I guess it just depends because in my head, most offensive coordinators, they're going to want to go to a team that's got a defensive-minded head coach or a neutral head coach. Think Gruden, or not Gruden, what the heck? Harbaugh, or why did I say Gruden? Harbaugh, or who's the other guy? Sirianni. But you never know. Cole, when are you going to be the secret chief? I don't know. Probably never. But that was cool. I saw that with, wasn't it Tech 9? Keep killing it, Cole. Thank you, Keith. Heck yeah. Appreciate the kind words, man. Always love doing these. Tom with the 2. We're actually favored in all our remaining games. I believe it. But still, like, there's still some tough opponents. Bills, Broncos won't be easy. You got the Colts. I mean, woo. I like some of them more than Chargers, Eagles, Ravens, Lions in a 5-week span or whatever that was, even though I know the Ravens aren't doing well right now. Still, though. Colts could be trouble. Unitas comes back. God bless America. Dude, the Colts have been the Chiefs' kryptonite forever. I remember the Andrew Luck game. I don't remember what the score was, but the Chiefs were up like 27 points or something at half, and they ended up losing that game. Couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Alex Smith would be a fun OC. Heck yeah. I think he's still got young kids. I don't know if he wants to do that, but I have a lot of respect for Alex Smith. He should probably come back into the NFL as like a QB coach first and then work his way up, but QB coach for the Chiefs? Come on now. You cried at work during the Andrew Luck game? I was watching with my dad and my brother, and We all looked at each other. We were so happy at halftime, like yelling, eating food. And then the end of the game, we were just like, what the was that? Yep, Doug Peterson will be available as an OC. That's true. Yeah, because where's he at right now? I know he's not a head coach anywhere. What's he doing? Did he take the year off? Like, what's he doing right now? Doug Peterson. Yeah, like, I don't think he's coaching anywhere. I think he's like he's a free agent. There you go. Bills don't scare me like years past. Yeah, Joel, I think the Bills have struggled a little bit recently. They definitely look vulnerable right now. Sometimes a team that even looks vulnerable, they just match up well and they play you tough. Anytime the Chiefs have played the Bengals when they had Joe Burrow, because they also had Lou Anarumo, their defensive coordinator, just played you tough. Those games are always very difficult. For whatever reason, that Bills team, especially in recent years, it sometimes hasn't mattered. That game just is a one-score game almost every single time, and they just play you really tough. We're not going to lose any more games, you guys said, Frank. Rice opens up the offense that much. He's that dynamic unless our O-line goes south again. Then we've got some games. We might lose some games due to frustrations. Eric Bieniemy, I would be surprised if he returns as the OC, but I don't really care. Like, I'm fine with it. That's fine with me. I just feel like if the Chiefs wanted him back, he would have been back in some capacity, because he literally went OC for the Commanders, right? And then he was coaching in college, and now he's the running backs coach for the Bears. So I don't know. That's a little bit of a weird situation. On the outside, Andy Reid said, like, it seems fine, and that they're always rooting for him and cheering him on. So maybe he could come back. I don't know, to be honest. I think the EB thing is the same reason why I would kind of want to move on from Nagy. I want somebody fresh in the room. Give me somebody else who hasn't been around. Just give me somebody new. Maybe that's wishful thinking, because Andy Reid's just going to bring in somebody from his coaching tree, but that's kind of where I'm at with it all. If you had to choose between McDuffie or Hollywood, who would you choose for a contract extension? Probably McDuffie. I think he's worth keeping around on the defensive side of the ball for sure. They didn't try that hard to keep him. Yeah. Well, I think he wanted to go to Washington to be the OC over there because the head coach was a defensive-minded head coach, right? So I got why. But then he's coaching in college. I don't think their team did that well in college. I can't even remember who it was for. Now he's the running backs coach for the Bears. So don't know. Cole, don't forget. Yeah, Lou Anarumo is now the DC for the Colts. That's a very true point. And I didn't think about it for the stream, but I knew he was their DC, and it's definitely a talking point worth bringing up when the Chiefs do play the Colts. That is something else where, for whatever reason, Lou Anarumo has given Mahomes fits. He's given Mahomes fits, and Mahomes has had some of his worst games against a Lou Anarumo-led defense. So keep an eye out for Lou Anarumo and that Colts defense when the Chiefs play him. That's for sure. That is for sure. Well, man, it's been an hour and a half. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. Tom with the 2 are favored in all our games. Max score will be our defense gives up the rest of season in one game. What does that mean? Max score will our D give up rest? Oh, what is the max score the defense will give up the rest of the season? I don't know. This year they've given up 27, 20, 9, 20, 31, but that was a pick 6 game. So really, what, 24, 17. I think 30 is about the max we'll see hung up on that defense. And that's worst case scenario. Multiple offensive turnovers. Hopefully it's not even that much. 24 would be more ideal. They're averaging what? They're like a top. What are the Chiefs averaging on defense? Chiefs team rankings. The Chiefs are averaging 17.7 points per game. I think 24 is the worst we're going to see. That's kind of where I'm at with it right now. I think the defense will pretty much do their thing, especially with the offense, sustaining drives, putting up points on the board, putting pressure on opposing teams. That's what I think it's going to look like. Man, I appreciate y'all. Thanks so much for hanging out. Mods for holding it down. All the super chats, the gifteds, the dono bombs. It's always fun and a blast to come on here and talk some Chiefs. It's crazy. It's been an hour and a half. You guys have been listening to me yap about football and the Chiefs. It means the world to me. Appreciate y'all more than you know. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go.
How about those Chiefs?